Hello everybody once again. Welcome back to the Tabletop Spotlight presented by BoLS. I'm Ian from Dragon's Lair, and we're here to take a look at the new games you can find this weekend at your friendly local gaming store. First up this week, we have the newest release from the CMON game, Marvel United, in the Multiverse expansions. The fourth core box for Marvel United has finally arrived. This long-awaited Kickstarter brings a whole host of new Marvel characters to your tabletop games. While the first three expansions were based on the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Spider-Man, this new expansion brings a whole host of new characters from all across the multiverse. Characters from the Immortal Thor to Captain Britain, all the way to Songbird, Gorr, and Thunderball feature in this new expansion. Part of these exclusives include the massive Multiverse Promos box, coming packed with 63 characters to add to your games. No matter what part of the Marvel Universe you're a fan of, these have something that you're absolutely going to love. I found each release of the Marvel United game series to be absolutely fantastic, from the art direction to the gameplay itself, and this just adds an absolute ton more content to love to any of your games. No matter what Marvel character is your favorite, there has to be someone that's at least in your top 10 included throughout all these expansions. Next up this week, we have the very much anticipated new release from Stonemaier Games, Stamp Swap. It's time once again for the annual Stamp Swap show, and in this game you take on the role of a philatelist, looking to complete your collection and show it off to those around you. Over the course of the game, you'll play through 3 different days, giving you a chance to meet other attendees, put together beautiful, well-focused stamps, and show it off and accomplish a series of contests. The art of the game is not just in accumulating as many stamps as you can, but aiming for high quality, high scoring stamps as well. Each player will come equipped with a stamp board that allows you to add more and more stamps to your collection. Each stamp has an associated score value, meaning at the end of the day, your stamp may score higher than someone who has far more than you do if you're able to get the right ones. Games can come with 1 game board, 5 game mats, as well as 165 stamp tiles, 19 attendee cards, and other event cards, as well as the tokens you need to play the game. Stonemaier is famous for putting out hit after hit board game, and this seems to be no exception. This is a great way of adapting the world of stamp collecting into the board game world, and I think this is another fantastic addition to their library. Next up this week, we have the latest release from Mofidius Entertainment, Mass Effect the board game, Priority Hagalaz. In this cooperative story-driven board game, you take on the role of Commander Shepard and his allies, crash landing onto a remote world and attempting to discover the secrets within it. The Reapers have invaded the galaxy, and the only hope to stop them somehow lies beneath this icy world. As you take on the role of one of Commander Shepard's crewmates, you follow a branching, ever-growing playthrough that gives completely different outcomes each time you play it. Each of your early choices will influence the later missions, so be sure to be careful as you make your way through the planet. Inside, you'll also find 6 beautifully detailed minis, each representing a different character from the Mass Effect games. Aside from that, you'll have all the cards, dice, rulebooks, and everything else that you need to get your adventure started. As a longtime fan of the Mass Effect games, I think that this looks to be an exciting new entry in that franchise. This gives you the opportunity to play these characters in ways you never have before, and makes it so that the choices you make have actual consequences, and I think that that is an absolute time of fun on the tabletop. Last up this week, we have what is a very exciting release for me personally, and the new Blood Bowl team, the Chaos Dwarves. Finally returning in some form after a long absence, we have the Chaos Dwarves rocking onto the field of Blood Bowl. Inside, you'll find a whole host of Chaos Dwarves willing to take to the Blood Bowl tabletop. Alongside them, you'll also have their Hobgoblin allies who are willing to cheat, stab, and steal to get their victory. You also have the mighty Chaos Dwarf Flamesmiths who are looking to bring an extra layer of tricky magic to give their allies a good boost towards their goal. Inside, you'll get their turn and reroll markers, as well as the double-sided Blood Bowl coins, as well as the balls they need to play. If you're like me and have been a long-term fan of this faction in the old world, then you should be really excited to actually have them back into the world of Warhammer once again in some form. These dwarves bring new sculpts to the tabletop, and they have never looked better. It brings me all the more hope that we might actually see these guys in another one of the Games Workshop game library. But in the meantime, if this is all we're going to be getting, this is absolutely another fantastic Blood Bowl release. And once again, these were the games of the week. You can find all these and more this weekend at your local hobby store. I'm Ian from Dragon's Lair, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.